Meanwhile, top Republican leaders, they are furious. They say this is all just an effort to distract Americans from the Obamacare debacle. Mitch McConnell here.
Millions of Americans are hurting because of a law Washington Democrats forced upon them. And what do they do about it? They cook up some fake fight over judges. He may as just as well have said, if you like the rules of the Senate, you can keep them.
This is the most important and most dangerous restructuring of Senate rules since Thomas Jefferson wrote them.
Sounds to me like Harry Reid's trying to change the subject. And if I were taking all the incoming fire that he's taking over Obamacare, I'd try to change the subject, too.
Now, Byron York now leads our coverage now, chief political correspondent, Washington Examiner, Fox News contributor, live in Phoenix, Arizona today. You go so far as to say this is a turning point in American government. Explain.
Absolutely. This is much more than an effort to change the subject. For our entire history, the Senate has been the place that protected the rights of the political minority. It required a supermajority vote, in this case 60 votes, to pass controversial legislation. Well, what happened yesterday was Democrats used a very obscure rules maneuver to just blow that up. They completely blew it up. It affects only, for the moment, nominations, executive nominations by the president and nominations to the courts. But I think everybody who's involved with this says it is, at one point, someday, going to apply to legislation too. And the Senate will become, like the House, a place where you can run anything through with just a simple majority vote.
If the intent was to change the topic off Obamacare, maybe it worked for 18 hours. But, I mean, yet again, we've got another delay today that we'll get to in a moment here. But you also rightly point out this was supported by Democratic senators who have never served in the minority. Now, why is that so significant?
Well, because they haven't been rolled over by the majority yet. They haven't seen the world from the position of the minority. There are 56 Democrats in the Senate. 31 of them have never served in the minority. And you listened to Mitch McConnell yesterday, and he said, look, your time is coming. The Senate power has changed hands. It changed in 2007, changed in 2002, changed in the 1990s, 94. It has changed a lot of times. Things go around and come around in the Senate. And if there's no protection for the minority to be able to stop legislation that's really important to them, everything changes.
One more significant point, Byron. Did not mean to interrupt you there, but the ramifications are at the judicial level now. The appellate level in Washington, D.C., arguably is the second most powerful court in the country, is it not?
Right. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia, second most important court in the whole country. There are 3 nominations, 3 positions that are open. Republicans have been blocking President Obama's nominee for them. What's important is that court considers a lot of things that the president does when they're challenged legally. The president has issued some very controversial new rules for the Environmental Protection Agency on limiting emissions. It's going to end up in that court. The president wanted his judges on that court to rule favorably for him. Republicans had been blocking him. Now those judges are going to go through, going to make a huge difference, not just in the selection of judges, but in the environment and all sorts of other policy areas.
It could be precedent-setting indeed. Byron York, thank you. Your analysis from Phoenix today. You bet. Martha.
Well, meanwhile, President Obama clearly changing his tune on the controversial nuclear option tactic while he applauded the move yesterday. Look at what he said about it back in 2005.
At the end of the day, they expect both parties to work together to get the people's business done. What they don't expect is for one party, be it Republican or Democrat, to change the rules in the middle of the game so that they can make all the decisions while the other party is told to sit down and keep quiet.
Wow, that's interesting, right? Doesn't stop there. Vice President Joe Biden, Senator Harry Reid, all slammed the move when the shoe was on the other foot. So is this the height of hypocrisy? Bob Beckel and Andrea Tantaros back together again from the 5, of course, are here on America's Newsroom. They're going to debate that.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing both of them. Mitch McConnell taking it a step further, saying not only is this a bad idea, but Democrats again will live to regret it. What do you think? Will Democrats regret this move? Does it change the way Washington governs itself? Send a tweet at Bill Hemmer and at Martha McCallum. That's our Twitter question of the hour today, and we'll read a few a bit later today.
As Byron said, I mean, it basically becomes an arm like the House. You know, if you can pass it on a simple majority, it changes the dynamic dramatically. And I think he makes a great point in saying that this is not just about a diversionary tactic from Obamacare. It's a really deep-seated change that we're going to live with the ramifications of for some time. So.
That's right. More on that in a moment. Also.